To order the August 27, 2025 OCVB meeting. Susan, can you please take roll call?
Heather Patterson,
Present.
Don Dietrich,
Also present.
and Kerr Patel. Present. Jason Crady,
Present.
Amy Corrigan,
Excused.
Kelly Pirano,
Present.
Patrick McKeon,
Present.
Councilmember Bibb.
Excused. Okay, now I'd like to ask Mr. Ankur Patel, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the approval of the agenda. Today's meeting agenda is before you. Are there any questions or changes or any additions that anyone would like to make to the agenda? And if not, I will need a motion and a second to approve it as presented.
Second, Dietrich.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion stands. Next, we're moving on to the approval of minutes from our last meeting in July. And I have all of those in front of us. Are there any questions, changes, or additions that anyone would like to make to that?
No changes or additions, but I just would like to make a comment that I appreciate Susan's effort on a very challenging meeting, putting those minutes together. So I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I second.
Yeah, exactly, thank you. Thank you. Okay, and then moving on, we are going to go to our first discussion item, which is budget. You're up, Kelly.
Okay, so the budget basically looks the same as it did at the July meeting. We just have, I believe it's 5 different things that we would like to discuss on this, and those items are on the narrative, which is the landscaped version of the budget. And I don't know what order we want to go in, but we have like the rail district, historic preservation, the Mid-American Veterans Museum, the sports tourism program, the marketing consultant. I know we've talked to the rail district. They came here and presented before. They were looking for up to $5,000. I don't know if we want to go line by line or if we want to do it all at the end. Any suggestions?
Madam Chair, I have, and working with Kelly and as she's presented the budget, I've kind of prepared a little bit of a short summary of each of these items that I'd like to hand out to everyone as a starting point for our discussion, and then maybe try to work through each one as we go.
Perfect, I love that, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, great, yeah. So, as Kelly has said, she has prepared the budget, and you've got the information before you in terms of the total number of requests. The first item that we would like to discuss and make a decision on is continuation of support for the Rail District Festival. Last year in 2024, they drew about 2,000 attendees. They have moved from a spring event to a fall event. It's scheduled for next week? Next weekend?
It's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. And then, they're anticipating this continue to be an annual event and continue to grow it. And so they have maintained a request of support of $5,000 to support their marketing and promotion efforts of that event. And so I would like to voice my support for continued funding through OCVB for that event, and including that $5,000 in our 2026 budget. And I don't know whether you want to vote on these separately or we probably should, because we've got a lot to talk about.
I do. think that would be best. I can also say, I've voiced the same, for someone that is involved in it, as a vendor. It's a great event, and I'd love to support it again. I do believe it's going to keep growing, because it's already has, and I think it's great for the city, so.
I'd like to make a motion then to include a $5,000 allocation for the Rail District Festival in the 2026 budget.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second, Grady.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion stands.
The next item up is a request from the Historic Preservation Commission to help fund leverage a federal grant they received and for developing educational materials that talk about the O'Fallon's rich history. And Rich Dodson is here from the Historic Preservation District and would like to share a little information about this.
Good afternoon, Rick.
Hi, I'm Rick Dodson with Historic Preservation. Yeah, we were approved actually for a grant, like all grants. They, 2024 hasn't even went through yet, even though they were approved, so it might come through. So what we are looking for is actually the $3,500 is to make our brochure. We have 18,000 kids in the city of O'Fallon. And that's important to us, but we also are going to be part of the rail district now too. So we're going to have to update that literature also. For that. But some of your questions was, on it being approved, we were approved. And so you know how this really works, the oil rigs out there, that's where the government gets their money from. The federal government gets their money from the rental of those rigs. That money funnels down into Department of Interior, down in through the parks, DOR, and everybody, and then down into the states. So when that money is taken to use somewhere else, that money doesn't funnel down like it was. Just to give you an update on that. We are, the 44 match is also, we do match it, but it's not cash. It's actually, everybody does a little work. We have a professional writing service. One of our people and commissioners also help out, and then we have few paid city employees that help us out to do the brochures and print them out, write up the stories of them. The printing cost, this is a big difference. So when I approached Kelly on this, was working with an individual close here that the city has worked with before. And their bids came out to the same as last year. So that was $3,975, and that's an eight panel, where everybody else was giving me bids for six panels, which was trifold, fold them up. We have a lot to discuss on ours and explain to citizens we wanted 8. Just to give you an update of what the others were charging, Office Max gave us a price of $14,000. FedEx gives us a price of $11,000. FedEx Corp, after talking with the lady for 45 minutes and flirting and doing whatever I could do to get the price down, came down to $4,677. But our regular basic print shop was $3,975. So I mean, for the 8 panel, I thought it was a really, really good deal. And one of the other questions, the total project cost, the volunteer service. There's a spreadsheet that was sent to you, that Kelly has that, and so that gives you an idea of what it is. Our budget only allows us, I think, $500, but out of that budget, we have to go take a class for the Missouri State Preservation. So that's always in October, and it's the 3 of us, Amy, Tanya, and I, that take that class. So that comes out of our $500. Do you have any other questions? I think, yeah. So, and we actually on our we have a educational subcommittee that is working with the schools to see exactly what they want to do. Our goal is to actually, with these brochures, bring more tourism in, and also allow the kids to come in here and let them know that the history we have. Instead of going to Hannibal, you can go to Hannibal, but why not come? We have Fort Zumwalt. We have the Hill Home. We have so much here that we could use, and actually the safety area of the fort is really nice because the park, you know, is a big parking and the kids, it's safe for the kids, which I like. And one of your other questions was, would the city of O'Fallon and O'Fallon Historic be included in the brochures? If not necessarily, but if needed, it would be a good publicity. You know, it's a little fine print you can't see anyway. But yes, you know, we could work that out. I don't know if you have any other questions. I think it's a win-win for us. As we grow, we're finding more and more historical sites that haven't been talked about. And I'll just give you another example. At our next meeting on Tuesday night, the state of Missouri just passed legislation on 2 of our main roads that we come through here, was the oldest roads in the state of Missouri, the Salt River Road and the Boonslick Trail. So they'll be talking, one of our commissioners is actually secretary for that, and so she will be talking about that and letting us know what's going on signage and if we can get on it. And most of that Boonslick Trail is actually highway in. You know, so that's it. And then, you know, we got the Salt River down here. We have so much. And another example of how much you can write on, we have, when you take Dames Park, we have the old drain home that was down there. And then we have an Indian mound down there. But also, we were thinking about it, we need to put the old Veterans Museum, the Veterans statue down there that used to be in Civic Park, the memorial. I mean, that's a whole history. That should be part of our stuff too. I'm just trying to give you an update of all what we have, what we need to do, how we need to educate. Reaching out to these schools. It's kind of you know, because we have Winsville School District and we have Francis House School District, but we also have Fort Tumult. You know, then we have the St. Dominic, and then we have this Christian church over in. So and with the 18,000 pamphlets, they're not going out all at once. They're just going to be used to serve different classrooms, you know, and hand out to special events. You know, that's what they're going to be in education. And our main deal is to actually get them into some of the libraries too, and posters.
Rick, what's your print run then? What are you looking to actually, how many individual brochures are you looking to print?
18,000.
There's 18,000 students that you've accounted for within this universe, 1st through 12th. So each individual student during the school year will be handed to keep one of these brochures. Is that what your plan?
No, our plans are it's like if it's 5th grade or if it's whatever the history teachers, we're not going to give them all one. We need to have some. Yeah. So we're going to set some back and use it for events. And then as the kids grow up and move into those history lessons, then that's how we would do it.
So
based on the school's curriculum, I do know our commissioner reported last time at our last meeting that they are making some changes to the curriculum here in Fort Zumwalt. So she's a little on hold right now on what they actually want. Mm-hmm. No, we would not give them all out. They would not go out all at once. No way. That would be like throwing them in the trash can. They couldn't do that. So this would be like I would say like a 5-year project. Over time, handing them out per the math class, because they have a curriculum and we have to stay within that curriculum.
Would it be beneficial to do a smaller print run at the start with the idea that maybe in year 3 the brochure needs to be updated due to whatever changes might happen or new things that you discover, and then do a version 2 in year 3 that then would allow you to complete that 5-year program?
That's a good question. So we have put it before our commission for them to pick. I think we have like 14 items for them to pick right now what we have, and then we'll go from there. Whatever they decide what's more important. Of course, it would be the fort, and it would be the hill home. And then we have the Sisters, which is their cemetery historic, Sage Chapel is historic, and we have the Westhoff building, Grain building. We also have the old Krekel home, which was also the first post office too. So we actually just the basics here in town. Yeah. So that's why down the road we'd like to do a poster with that, and then because we've seen in Winsville they did some historic houses on a spread like that. So if we did that on some posters, we could actually have the brochures and down the road do the posters where it covers everything, and we will. And the good question is, as the city grows, okay, as the city grows, especially on the Highway Inn area, Ward 3 area, we're getting old cemeteries too. And the good thing about that, the city is actually making the HOAs take care of those once they're developed. So, but we monitor that too. And then you have on this other side here, on the north side, you have Peru Creek and all that, where the settlers actually used to come up with the river boats and drop them off on the Salt River Road, which is Highway P, and then they went up and developed that way and then out this way. That's how everything grew. So there's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there. So your target is 5th and 6th graders,
Yeah.
correct? So, and those particular classes, and as kids over the 5-year program that are maybe first graders get into that age range, then those would actually then be receiving the brochure, correct?
Correct. And like I have one of my granddaughters, she's in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And she's history. She loves history. And so we go around, when she comes to visit, we go around places.
Maybe I is there 18,000 kids in that particular cohort of 5th and 6th graders, or is that 18,000
As a whole.
between 1st and
Right.
12th grade? Okay.
18,000. So we figure we need 18,000 brochures, and then I guess scattered over a few years, and then they would be dispersed. Plus the other special events that we do in O'Fallon.
I mean, there's, like you said, the rail district.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere you distributing out to the hotels, maybe putting in public buildings, the Veterans
Exactly.
Museum.
And that was a good point, because I called all the hotels here and talked to them, and none of them have anything about O'Fallon in it. I was really upset, really. That's what got me rolling, too. Because there's a company that actually you pay to have but not all of them use that, where some of them gave me approval that I could actually put something in their hotel, too. I've talked with the owners or in the management.
And this is one of the reasons I like this idea, because I think in part that's also due to the lack of materials that are available to be able to put in those hotels. I think the hotels would be more than willing to do that kind of thing, but they've got to have the content to put in there. So, okay, so when are you planning to actually do the print of this new
The
brochure?
print is once when we have to work on the layout. So I guess in probably 6 months, somewhere we can start that, because it's going to take a while to do the layout. You're telling the history, and I'm trying to get some brochures actually right now from the Boomstick Trail to have out at the rail district, and because people don't realize Cotterville, you come through Cotterville, there was 3 wagon trains a day, 60 wagons at a time that traveled westward. And we don't even, and we haven't even got into the railroad. This town was built on the railroad.
Could we ask that before you go to print that we could see the brochure?
Absolutely, yes.
Come back maybe in 5-6 months and do an update for us. We'd love to, because it's just fascinating, all that history and what's going to be in there and all that.
And we do not have anything right now, except maybe there's some few little old brochures at the log cabin. It's not open yet, but even at the Heald home, they need literature. That place is jam-packed during the Christmas holidays, when you have the walkthrough. And people come from all over, but we need to supply the city, and we need to supply we need to educate.
I agree. I think The only thing that I do agree with Mr. McKeon here as well, that the materials, we would want the marketing materials to stay relevant. So that would be my only concern, is that if you printed too many now, and that perhaps in a couple years there was new findings, or there was just in general some updating that needed to be done, that one might be smarter to do, almost like a drip marketing plan versus, doing them all at one time, 5 years ahead of time.
Right.
Because it sounds like you guys do have new findings, like I said, that that happens as well, but to kind of change things up or keep them fresh as well on the marketing side.
Right, well, yeah, we're almost 100,000 people here, so you take 10%. We got 10,000 people, and we're talking about the schools, but actually we have a bigger number of, for all our events.
And I think it's great having two children that I raised in the Fort Zumwalt School District, and they live here in O'Fallon. They really aren't aware of all of the different historic things here in this area. I think it would have been great for them to go on field trips and see this. And so I think it's wonderful that you're going to get out there in the schools and get that out there to the kids.
The survival, kids today don't know how to survive unless it's a phone. And really, I'm serious. And and we're working on a virtual museum also too that will be on our project down the road. But yeah, we are working on that. So for children too.
Nice.
Just
Thank
a
you.
comment on this. I love the idea for hotels to have this literature. So I think print all of them now. The 18,000. Let's start getting hundreds of these to hotels, right? Older generational travelers like to go through those brochures, and if they know what's in the city, that might keep them in the city for another day, another 2 days maybe. That's better for restaurants, that's better for retail, everybody, right? And then, it builds awareness. So I think not just schools. I like the idea of doing this through schools, but definitely get these out to hotels.
It's a major city project, and our goal is to actually the city as a whole, from one side to the other side. I mean, we have that other side. We have other stuff down there at the other end that that need to know what's happening in town. Years ago, they kind of did a little survey. Most teachers and most kids did not even know there was a fort. They just knew they was in Fort Zumwalt School.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So there was a lack.
Yep.
I have a comment also. I would be happy to put some of those in my store as well. And I have a former educator from the Fort Zumwalt School District that works with us now. And a lot of his former students and their parents come in. And I know that it would be great because we have an area where we have a lot of literature up front just from other companies that we carry and stuff, but I think it would be cool, and I think a lot of our consumers would be interested in having that, and I know I would also, so more than welcome to put any of those in my store.
Thank you, Jason.
Well, it sounds like you're going to need the 18,000 printed right away then. I like it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you start looking at the city as a whole, and not
Yeah.
just the students, it was part of and we're going into the America 250, and I'll be talking about that in our next meeting. But it's about education, and we need to educate our people what we have here. A lot of our guys up there, what I call the ridge, like the Heels and all those, and the Wells, and they were all part of the Revolutionary War people. So and before this became a town, so we have a lot here.
I would like to go ahead and make a motion then that we put in our 2026 budget an allocation for the Historic Preservation Commission of $3,500 with the stipulation that somewhere on that brochure it says
Yes.
O'Fallon Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, and that's important because we're supporting each other. That's very important to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also that Rick come back in 6 months, give us an update, and love to see the draft of the brochure.
And if you have any ideas, please send them to us. Send them to Amy or Tanya.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I second.
No, hold up. If I
Okay.
could, I need to recuse myself for this because I sit on that committee.
Thank you, Don, for recognizing that. Thank you.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion stands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is a request from the Mid-America Veterans Museum. and they have submitted in writing in both informational conversation last meeting about a need for their own marketing effort, and they had asked at that point for $92,500. I've had follow-up conversations with their director and felt that, and I just told her, that's almost twice the marketing budget I have for economic development. So that's a big number. But there are things within that proposal I think are very worthwhile for us to consider supporting, including their Fallen 13 weekend that's going to be next August. It's a celebration and a remembrance of those individuals killed in the airport attack during the Iraq withdrawal, including a young man, local individual who was killed in that raid. And so it's $15,000 is the request associated with the Fallen 13 weekend. And I think it would be very worthwhile for this group to support that and the marketing of that. There are some other things within the request similar to what Rick has just talked about in terms of developing a brochure and some written materials and some online materials for the museum. And probably we'll see maybe a request at our next meeting for funding within this calendar year to support that effort. But I would like to make a motion to modify, unless there's some discussion, I would like to make a motion to modify this request to $15,000 for the Veterans Museum for 2026.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second, Dietrich.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion stands. All right, thank you. All right, next.
Next is an idea that I have kicked around. I think it was part of the original 5 Ideas initiative that our chair started here back at the end of last year. It's based around this idea of a shuttle service to support the hotels. And so I have done some research on this. I prepared to come with a more in-depth proposal at our next meeting as to how we might be able to do this or get everyone's input on. But what I would like to request is a $10,000 placeholder in our 26 budget for a shuttle service that would support tournaments and sports events that are going on in O'Fallon and nearby O'Fallon that would help our hotels provide potential shuttle services from guests staying in those hotels to those particular events. And I know it won't ultimately cover the cost of that shuttle, but I think anything can help. And if it can help encourage the hotels to provide that additional benefit or service for staying in O'Fallon, we all win. So I'm open for comments and discussion, but that's what I'd like to propose.
Well, I do believe that traffic's going to pick up with now that we just approved the turf for the, that's one thing I would think that, it might be already to where we have some, schedules that are busy, but it's going to get even busier. So that is a good thing. I agree.
I have a question. Would this only be for the hotels and motels within the city limits?
Correct. This would only be in support of those hotels that are here in City of O'Fallon.
Anybody else?
You say placeholder, what are we looking at?
It would be getting a line item within our budget for a certain dollar amount, and then designing a program around that would work directly with the hotels in some sort of an agreement form to say if there's going to be a tournament at Carshield Field or at Ozzie Smith Fields, that individual teams or groups that are staying at the hotels, the hotel could then offer a potential shuttle service to that venue once or twice a day, whatever it might be, and that we would work up an agreement of some reimbursement level up to a maximum amount per day that would say, will help subsidize that shuttle cost. And I do know some of the hotels have got some shuttle service arrangements and everything else, but I think given the position of our hotels and where our sporting venues are, I think this would be a nice support service, and it would also be a way for the OCVB to return back to those hotels that create that funding support for this group to enable us to do this.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Are you presenting the motion then, Patrick? Like to make a motion?
No, I don't like it.
Okay. I mean, you're on a roll, so.
I would like to make a motion to place within the 2026 budget $10,000 for a sports tourism partnership program to provide hotel shuttle services to sporting events in the area. I'm saying in the area because if for some reason there is something that's going on in Cottleville, but the people are staying in O'Fallon, we still win. So I would be open to that.
Would it be for more than sporting events?
Yes, ma'am. I think I just called it sports tourism because of all the activity going on in that area, but it could be expanded beyond that. If we had a cultural festival, a huge family reunion, I mean, I think it could be open to those other kind of activities.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion stands. Next one.
The next one, I have a whole bunch of materials for you to look at. As you know, in previous couple of meetings, we've talked about the idea of marketing consulting services. And after some initial approval by this group to go out and solicit potential marketing consulting services, I came up with the thought that maybe we should start with a request for information first to see if there's actually marketing firms out there that would be willing to work with us and provide the kind of analysis and recommendations that in terms of developing a marketing campaign. We spend $75,000 in advertising through this budget here for tourism, festivals, events, and I'm not sure exactly as to whether at certain times we know exactly who we're marketing to, what we're marketing, how we're reaching them, those core audiences, or whether that we're right on target and we need to put more money into it. And so I submitted this past month an RFI through our procurement process, and we actually had 13 respondents, which I thought was just amazing. Much more than when I did my own RFP for consulting services for marketing. I think we got 4 or 5. So there was a lot of interest out there. I've provided you a summary sheet of the 13 groups that responded and provided you a breakdown of their funding, of their pricing for their proposals. Again, this was an RFI. We provided very little information to them other than this is kind of what we're looking for. And so they had to guess a lot and just kind of assume other things that how this might work with the intent that there will be a formal RFP issued if we would go out for these services. I provided in your packet a few examples of some of the materials we received. I would say the proposals are ranging from 3 to 5 pages up to 35, 40 pages. A lot of it was just basic standard marketing materials that they use all the time. But I did feel like, at least from the marketing audit and strategy standpoint, we had costs ranging from a few $1,000s up to $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 at the most. And depending upon the level of involvement, intensity we'd want to take that, I think, at least from my perspective, that was the first step. They did go on and propose that beyond the doing the audit analysis and strategy, that they would provide maybe campaign support beyond that. And as you can see on the sheet, one of them estimated somewhere between around $100,000 to $150,000. Others were more a monthly retainer, which is what we pay through economic development for our public relations support. And I think that this, to me, and again, looking for others' opinions and thoughts on this, indicates that there is one strong interest by these experts to support what we're trying to do here, that I think we can do at least the marketing audit and strategy at a very reasonable cost, and then make some determination as to whether we want to continue on with actually a full marketing campaign support. And so I had asked for an allocation in the budget of $35,000 to support that. That's probably high. We could probably do the first phase in $25,000, and I'd be happy to adjust that if we would like. But I submit that for your thoughts and comments.
I agree. I was thinking that too, that it might be to where we don't even need what we were originally thinking after looking at this. Initially, I noticed right away the 1-year marketing roadmap. The 1 year is appealing to the fact that it's less commitment. We don't know how long that we're going to necessarily need somebody to do this. It's more of like we had said, to kind of create a roadmap, let us know where we're going in the right direction or the wrong direction. And then that fact that we could continue on with that hourly rate, it is appealing, and it isn't on the honestly, it's a lot lower than I thought it would be. So, yeah. But anybody else? Thoughts?
One of my thoughts would be to put it on our calendar to do the official RFP and then do a budget amendment next year based on our actual numbers, and potentially have share costs for other departments that might benefit from this kind of a study.
That's a good idea.
I agree.
So do we not create a placeholder within the 26, given that approach, do we not create a placeholder in the 26 budget yet and then just amend the budget next year? Let me add to that question, Kelly. A lot of these marketing firms did a lot. A good handful of these marketing firms reached back out and said, what is your budget for this? Because it doesn't make any sense for them to propose a $100,000 budget if we're only going to allocate 30 or 50 or 70, right? And so do we need to know within our RFP as to what potentially our budget is, or do we decide that in the RFP with the idea that then ultimately we place it into the 26 budget as an amendment?
Basically, you could do it either way, but I see your point where they're going to want to know how much do you want to invest into this process. Yeah. So I could see that as being why you would want to budget a fair amount based on these estimates. So
It's a must, yeah, if they're going to do the proposal.
I'm okay with the idea of a low amount in the budget, with the idea that we can supplement that if we need to. But I would much prefer to say, well, we've budgeted $25,000 instead of saying we budgeted $100,000 and then their price is 99.9, yeah, right? And so I would think just a maybe $20,000-$25,000 as a placeholder is a good place to start.
I agree. Are we wanting to make a motion on a certain amount?
I'd be fine with 25,000, I think. It's a good starting point.
I second that motion.
All in
Didn't know
favor?
you made a motion, Anko, but yeah, you did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion stands. Great, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the next.
The next item is the U.S. Space Force Monument. As you have heard in previous meetings, we have been approached by our don't know what group, it's the Veterans Commission, whatever, about the need to create a a U.S. Space Force monument at Veterans Memorial Walk. We have 5 pillars there, right there at 70 and Bellow Creek, across from the QT, that represent the other branches of the military. And with the creation of the U.S. Space Force, we would like to add potentially something to represent that new body of the army or the military. And so they've approached us about getting some monies to this. There was money in this year's budget of about $5,000 to get some consulting support. That money has not been spent. They've kind of taken a different approach, that they're just going to go back to the original designer of that memorial and work with them potentially to redesign to accommodate for this 6th pillar that would match the other 5. And so we have no dollar amount as to what that pillar would cost. We think that the $50,000 here in this request is reasonable for now, and give us some middle point to work from in moving forward. So again, this is something that we have discussed in previous meetings, and would like to now look at the budget year 2026 for a $50,000 allocation to create that 6th monument.
Does anybody have any questions about that or comments?
Just one comment. It has been in the drafts that we have previously seen, so that might be why it looks familiar.
Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
Motion by Perano.
Second, Patel.
All in approval? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion stands.
I've also placed in this memo, and this is something that we've also discussed in the past. It was actually in the 25 budget, but I felt like it's worth reviewing again. There was $15,000 allocated in the 25 budget for what I refer to as mobilytic data. I think that's a trademarked name term. It's more mobile-based data analysis, and there are services out there that provide a review of mobilytic data or cell phone data at events, and so showing where those individuals came from, where they go after your event, how long they spend at your event. It's really kind of scary data that they generate. And so I think our tourism festivals team has been looking for something like this for a while in terms of giving them better analysis as to where those individuals attending Heritage and Freedom Festival, Celebration of Lights, Whiskers and Wags, is that right? Whiskers and Wags and whatever we have. Yeah, dogs and cats, the dogs and cats thing. So I think if this is a worthwhile, that again, lending its support for this idea of a marketing consultant, not only having the data to know where our attendees come from, how long they spend, where did they go? Do they go to the Walmart afterwards? Do they go to Drake's or another restaurant, or do they go to Missouri Wild Alchemy on the way out of town? That's all within this calculation, and having good data to work from, and potentially then having someone to help us understand and use that data, I think all works together. We thought we were going to have this service in 25 at $15,000. The provider decided couldn't give it to us for that amount, and so we are now wanting to budget $30,000 for this in the coming year. I don't know whether we're going to need this for more than 1 year. I would be a little hesitant to see one, to see how well we use it, have tourism festivals report to us on a regular basis of how that information is helping them. And then, I think it is, at least at this point, a worthwhile expenditure.
Do I have or any questions or comments about that?
A couple of comments on that. As hotels, we use data like this to track when someone goes to look for a hotel room. We pay companies to, track their trends to help us better figure out why we're either winning or not winning. So this, I think, would really help the city, and not just, this would be across the board, and exactly like you said. To Walmart, are they eating in O'Fallon? Are they, what are they doing after and during the event? And again, if we can keep them in O'Fallon another night longer, that's basically our goal here, right? So I think that's a great idea. Question on this, the 30,000. I'm assuming you have a vendor already picked out.
There has been conversations with a vendor that has given us that ballpark figure, yes. We would, still need to bid it out, right?
And then the 30,000 would include their analysis on how we can use this. Obviously, there's a lot of data that comes out with this. So, and to a layperson, we don't understand it. So we need someone to explain that to us. So I'm assuming the 30,000 includes that part.
From my understanding, there's different applications that you can, like cafeteria, into what program you're looking for. Because there's so much they can do, they can pick and choose what it is they're looking for. So that might limit or expand how much they're going to be paying every year.
I think you ask a very good question. And my department utilized this similar kind of data a few years ago, and it was overwhelming in terms of the amount of information that they provided us, and did provide some decent customer support, but ultimately we chose to discontinue that service because it was expensive, and I didn't feel like we were getting full utilization out of it. Since that time, with the advent of AI, I think there's a way to take that analysis and then upload it into AI and have it help actually create the recommendations and support that combined with the support from the provider. So I think they provide good instruction and suggestion. I don't think they provide really consultation and advice. Okay, here's how you should use it, or this is a way you can use it to make it, work. So I think it will be incumbent upon Tourism Festival team to figure out a way, and that an AI tool might be able to answer to that.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second, unless anyone else has any other comments or questions?
I motion.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Rhonda.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion stands. All right, I think we have come to the end of that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Now, I do notice, Jenna's here. Are you giving an update today? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, uh-oh, did I skip you? Because I didn't see you on the agenda, so-
Don't let her off like that.
Okay, well, I was like, okay, I won't tell anybody. Okay.
I had like 23 questions for her.
All right, then it looks like does anyone have any closing comments then on our meeting today?
I would just like to give an update on where we stand with the budget.
Great, thank you.
After putting all those items in there, your handout showed that our ending balance was at $1,059,253. With the additions and the changes that we made on this, our ending balance is now $1,758,000.
Okay. Anybody have any?
And that's the projected amount for the ending balance at 2026, correct? Okay, yeah, great.
Okay.
increase from last year. Is that wrong?
In 2024, we realized this year that we did not properly collect. So this year, we are actually playing catch-up
Okay.
on one of those. So yes and no.
So that's why the numbers are.
That's why the number looks so much higher, and that's why the 2026 percentage is like only 1.8% increase, because this year we're playing catch-up on something.
Thank you. Yeah, when I read that, it didn't make sense. So.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
I comment. I would like to make a request that we get an update on the Theater Works project at the next meeting.
Are you trying to make Jenna come up here?
No, because she's not the theater. Are you doing theater? Oh, sorry, Jenna. Could we have at the next meeting? Not today. At the next meeting.
It'll have to be October. Jennifer and I are both out of town for your guys' September meeting.
Do we have an October meeting? Mm-hmm. Oh, gee whiz. Okay, let's do it in October then.
Thank you. All right. No one else has any other comments then? I will end the meeting. Adjourned.